welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got Stephen Dollins on the phone with me today. This guy is an ex-Satanist high priest of the Church of Satan, and he has made 4 DVDs for the Prophecy Club and written a book. And you're probably familiar with him. A matter of fact, he's actually quite popular out there on the internet. His DVD, Occult in Your Living Room, Occult Holidays Revealed, Under the Spell of Harry Potter, both book and DVD. And today our topic is going to be his DVD called Illuminati Game or Blueprint for World Domination. This DVD has taken the internet by storm. Nobody saw this until Stephen Dollins saw it, made a DVD on it, and now it's gone like wildfire all over the internet. All you have to do is Google Illuminati Card Game, especially click on images, and you will be shocked to see what God used Stephen Dollins to start. Now, what am I talking about? In 1990s, early 90s, the Secret Service actually attempted to stop the distribution of this deck of cards called Illuminati New World Order. One of the cards, get this, clearly portrays an airplane hitting the 2 World Trade Center towers, and where it hits is almost exactly where the airplane actually hit. Now, these cards were published in the early 1990s. Somebody, as you look at this deck of cards, somebody saw the future. Other cards, for example, show the explosion at the Pentagon. Stephen says that they seem to contain the Illuminati secret plans for the future. Things like martial law, weapons confiscation, population reduction, controlled diseases re-released, a financial collapse, worthless currency. Okay. So I called Steve. I said, you haven't been on the radio and given us an update in a long time. Do these cards have anything to say about the ballpark shooting? Do they have anything to say about the Las Vegas massacre? Well, he sent me over 4 pages, 4 cards, or maybe even, not 4 cards per row, about 20 cards per page, sent me 5 pages of cards that he's going to be talking about. So we're having him on for the next couple of days, kind of giving us an update on what these Illuminati cards are saying for the future. So, Stephen Dollins, welcome back to the Prophecy Club, brother.
Thanks, brother. How you doing?
Good. Okay. So, give us the scoop. Tell us how these cards got started.
First of all, we need to understand who this is that produced the card game itself. And his name is Steve Jackson. He graduated from Rice University in Houston, Texas, and he's also the president of Steve Jackson Games, Incorporated. He's a writer and game publisher, and he produced a book and a role-playing game called Cyberpunk back in 1980. GURPS, GURPS, Cyberpunk, and it's a high-tech, low-life role-playing source book. What this basically is a role-playing game of proportions to where the player actually dominates all the other players. The Illuminati is like a standalone card game. It's made by Steve Jackson Games, and it was inspired by the Illuminatus, which is a trilogy that was written by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea. And the game was on ominous secret societies competing with each other to control the world through sinister means, including legal, illegal, and even the mystical. And it was designed as a tongue-in-cheek rather than serious. It was basically started out to be a fun, silly game. You take on conspiracy theories. It contains groups named similarly to the real-world organizations, such as the Society for Creative Anarchism. It can be played by 2 or 8 players. Depending on the number of players, the game can take between 1 and 6 hours to play. In September 1981, Steve Jackson and his regular freelance cover artist, Dave Martin, I believe this is the gentleman that does all of the artwork for the card. In my opinion, I think he's the one that's prophetic, because he's the one that comes up with the different arrangements of the cards and the artwork. he goes under the synonym of Smurf. And they discussed their shared admiration of the Illuminatus trilogy, and then they later suggested a card game. So Steve Jackson decided against adapting the novel because of the expense of the game rights and the difficulty of adapting a novel. So he decided a game about the secret conspiracy behind the Illuminatus was doable. After doing research on the Illuminati and the conspiracy theories, it went on the market in July 1982 in the pocketbook format, which is a plastic box the size of a mass-market paperback. And that was, at the time, unusual for Steve Jackson games. And over the next few years, there was like 3 expansions for this pocketbook Illuminati game. They were published. First 2 were substantially incorporated into the deluxe edition, and the third was an earlier version of what would become now the Illuminati Brainwash. Robert Shea provided 4 paragraph introductions to the rule book for the Illuminati expansion set also. This is what Robert Shea wrote in the beginning of this rule book. He says, maybe the Illuminati are behind this game. They must be, by definition, behind everything. Wilson later criticized some of the products for exploiting the Illuminatus and the name without paying royalties and things like that. That's kind of where the origin of the games came in.
Steve, bring us up to date why we believe that these cards are prophetic.
On March 1st, 1990, the offices of Steve Jackson Games in Austin, Texas, were raided by the United States Secret Service as part of a nationwide investigation of data privacy. Now, Stan, what is the main purpose, sole purpose for the Secret Service?
It's supposed to be to protect the president, right?
Exactly. Why would the Secret Service be involved in the raid on a card game or a game company? See, that's something that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense.
So the initial news story simply reported that the Secret Service had raided a suspecting ring of hackers. Gradually, the true story emerged. More than 3 years later, a federal court awarded damages and attorney's fees to the game company, ruling that the raid had been careless, illegal, and completely unjustified. Electronic civil liberties advocates hailed this case as a landmark. And on the morning of March 1st, without any kind of warning, a force of armed Secret Service agents, accompanied by Austin police, occupied the offices of Steve Jackson Games. During this time, they were first running this Illuminati card game, or not, actually it wasn't a card game. It actually started out as being a role-playing game, and it was online. They were testing this game to see the popularity of it and how it would take with players. Here's what happened. When they came in, they started seizing computers, which had this game running on it, the test game running on it. And they occupied the offices, and they began to search for computer equipment. The home of Lloyd Blankenship, which is the writer of Cyberpunk, was also raided.
That doesn't sound to me like that was threatening the president. That sounds to me like that they were searching for something was real bad or something they wanted to shut down.
I agree. You have to ask yourself, what were they actually running on there that would alert them to any kind of threat against the President of the United States or the government?
I think it was perhaps releasing some of their secrets they didn't want released.
There you go. The next day, accompanied by an attorney, Steve Jackson visited the offices of the Secret Service. And he had been promised that he could make copies of the company's files, but it turned out he was only allowed a few of the files. It became clear that these agents considered Cyberpunk to be a handbook for computer crime, because that's what they told him they were looking for was computer crime.
The only thing that makes sense is they didn't want some secrets. They didn't want some information out to the public.
I agree. I think that's exactly what happened.
This was a shut you down raid.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now the big thing is, so what was in the card games they didn't want out?
What do the cards show that they're afraid for people to see or that got too close to being the real thing? I came across these cards like in 1990. I had been in the Satanism, had come out in 1978, so I knew all about the Illuminati. I mean, that was not any kind of news. In fact, at the time, there were only like 3 or 4 Christians that were talking about the Illuminati that had come out of the occult. One of them was John Todd and myself. and two others.
Yeah, I remember hearing that name, John Todd. Go ahead.
I bought like 3 or 4 of the card packs because you had like 5 cards in a pack, and it said Illuminati Card Game, and I thought, Illuminati? And I took them home. And when I opened up the cards and started looking at them, I thought, this stuff is pretty heavy. If they're coming out with this information and they're putting it into these cards, I went and purchased, now they're out of print right now. You can purchase online the factory set, the Illuminati one with everything.
Let me just jump in here. One of the advantages of actually getting your DVD is because you're going to show them cards that might not be available, and you're going to explain some of the images. And even though they're looking at the images, they might not understand how that ties together with Bible prophecy in the future, correct?
Right. This factory set is like 450 cards. So to go through all of those, I mean, it would take you a long time, but...
What would 450 cards cost you to buy?
There are sellers on there that are selling these things for at least $1,000.
So you could put a couple of $1,000 and maybe not still have all of the cards.
Right.
Whoa. Okay, go ahead.
I started looking through the deck. When 9/11 happened, something stuck in my mind, and I thought, I've seen this before. It was like, the expression deja vu. When I saw the Twin Towers hit, and then the Pentagon hit, and I thought, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. Where have I seen this before? So I was looking one day. I pulled out the box, and I was just looking through them one day, and lo and behold, I found the card that showed the Twin Towers being hit with, and you can clearly see in the artwork that there's a fuselage of a plane coming off of the tower after the explosion. And the next card is the Pentagon, and the Pentagon is on fire.
I know. I remember the day when you called me. We'll be right back after this message. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com. And now, back to the program. I know. I remember the day when you called me. I mean, of course, your wife Joanna's worked for Prophecy Club, I don't know, since it began. Right. And you called me. You said, Stan, you got to look at this. You got to look at this, man. This is unreal. And, of course, it was a whole lot more than just those 2 cards. Tell us more.
These cards were published and produced in, 1990? Between 1990 and 1994, 1995.
And they clearly, there is no question. I don't care how skeptical you are. When you see that Illuminati card game, that drawing, that art of the 2 towers with a plane hitting it, when you see the Pentagon, yeah, there is no, as a matter of fact, there's many, many other cards. There is no question, in my opinion, somebody saw the future. I don't know how they saw it, but somebody saw the future. Many, many of these card games. Go ahead, though.
If these cards are hard to describe over the radio, simply for the fact that they're very detailed, you would have to see them to understand what we're talking about. And it's hard to talk about a card game when, the viewer can't actually see the card. Yeah,
well, again, we've got that in the DVD. I'm going to tell them how they can get the DVD. It's part of the offer. Well, here, I'll go ahead and talk about it just for a second. Okay, right. So the DVD he made, now the first one was made in October 2005. And this is the one that blew the lid off, that just took the internet by storm. It all started with Stephen Dollins. The name of the DVD called Illuminati Game or Blueprint for World Domination. And it has nice, clear drawings of all of the cards with Stephen explaining them. But We also had Steve make 3 other DVDs. And matter of fact, his other DVDs are also very popular. A Cult in Your Living Room. And here Stephen reveals the truth and the true origins behind things like Christmas, Easter, Halloween, many of the world's most celebrated holidays. He also made another one called Occult Holidays Revealed, where he explains things like Easter is actually celebrating the birth of Ishtar. Halloween is a celebration of Samhain, the Celtic Lord of the Dead. And Under the Spell of Harry Potter. And Harry Potter is still popular today, but he exposes how it actually teaches spellcasting, potions, curses. It brings no difference between good or evil, and it indirectly prepares children to receive the mark of the beast. Now, here's what we've done. All 4 of those DVDs and his book, Under the Spell of Harry Potter, that's $30 each plus a $10 book, well, added up is $135. However, we made an amazing offer. All 4 DVDs and his book available for a gift of just $45. Now, you can get this at prophecyclub.com, or you can call us 785-266-1112. Here's what you're going to ask for. You're going to ask for the Stephen Dollins collector set. Stephen Dollins collector set, just think of like a doll, okay? Stephen Dollins collector set, 4 DVDs and his book, gift of $135 normally, all for available for a gift today of just $45. All right, enough of the commercial. Now let's go back. Matter of fact, why don't you just tell them, just from your heart, why you think they need to get that Illuminati Card Game DVD?
Because I believe these cards are prophetic. I'm not saying that the cards were made by the Illuminati. I don't believe that at all. But someone in that game company is very prophetic. And someone, as you say before, saw the future. Whoever came up with the drawings, they contain like different coded messages on the cards themselves, and I'll go through that later. These cards basically reveal what, from the beginning to the end, or what they feel is the end, which is where the Illuminati basically take over. The Antichrist comes to rise in power.
Yeah, this is not an accident.
No.
I mean, this is not somebody who's doodling. Somebody knew. Somebody saw the future. Somebody saw the future. Now,
this is 1990 looking into today.
What about Occult in Your Living Room? What's that about?
The Occult in Your Living Room was a video that I did because my heart is for the young people, for the children. There had not been any kind of information regarding the assault on our children, and because I was brought into the occult at an early age, I didn't want other kids or children to be brought in like I was. I want them to have a chance to know what the truth is. The Occult in Your Living Room covers everything from video games that have occult symbols, subliminal messages on them, the cartoons that our children watch all day on Saturday, also different books, movies, toys that are out there that are absolutely overtly occult.
It's been said that after you watch this DVD, you start going around your house, rounding up all of the satanic items in your house, and have a big throwaway party. Okay, how's that different from Occult Holidays Revealed?
Occult Holidays Revealed covers basic holidays that are definitely occult, and I tell you why they are occult. We cover Christmas, Easter, and Halloween in depth and show you where the origin of these things came from. Now, you got to remember that no holiday, well, I'll take that back. Probably Thanksgiving it would be the closest, but no holiday actually originated in the United States or in the Americas. They came from immigrants as they came over to the United States, and they brought these practices with them.
Oh, yeah. What about Under the Spell of Harry Potter DVD and book?
Under the Spell of Harry Potter is covering a very popular book series and movie series called Harry Potter, about a boy that discovers that he is actually a wizard, that he has special powers. There is an evil wizard called Voldemort, which is out to destroy him because he knows that Harry can foil all of his plans. And again, Voldemort is a dictator in the wizard world.
All of these are really exposing evil that is behind a curtain that you might not see is evil.
Right. In the first video in The Occult in Your Living Room, I clearly state that there was a 12-step plan for world takeover by 1984. They wanted to follow along, right along with George Orwell's book, 1984, where it was Big Brother. And those things there were like three things on that plan that I saw as a priest at the time from the satanic organization that didn't happen. One of those steps in that plan says this: it said, we will find a way to make evil appear to be innocent and cute, and thereby seizing every mind and every child into the Luciferian doctrine.
Well, it sounds like they have hit it. Okay, we've only got a few more minutes here, so I'd like for you to go through some of the cards, try to describe what you're seeing, and tell us how that relates to Bible prophecy in the future, please.
You see the card called Backlash.
Yes.
That is absolutely, no doubt, President Barack Obama.
Okay, well, let me describe. Now, again, this was put out in 1990. I'm looking at what appears to be a black man with short hair. I mean, there's no question he's a black guy. It looks to me like someone has thrown eggs at him, and the eggs have hit behind him and on his shoulder and on his face, except for what is coming out of the eggs is not just clear and little yellow yolks. It's big splashes of red and orange, and he is standing behind a microphone. So it looks like there's a black man behind a microphone that is dressed up, similar to, you might say, a president. Basically, people have been throwing eggs at him, as in they did not like what he said. Your comment, please.
You know, when you look at this card and you go, well, what does that have to do? Well, backlash is clearly what happened with President Barack Obama. You remember in his campaign, he kept stating, yes, we can. And I said, well...
Yes, you can keep your doctor.
and I told my wife, I said, yeah, he sure did. I said, now we can say, yes, he did, because he left us in economic chaos. He didn't follow through with, and no president, by the way, has followed through with anything they said. It's all words, charming, the people into believing that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, but they don't. That's where backlash comes in, is because people realize that they've been duped.
Okay, let's talk about the next one, and I'll describe it. And I won't say the person's name on the card. I'll let you tell them that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at a picture of a woman, and she's wearing green. She's got a nice green, I will say, a scarf around her neck. Her hair is above the shoulders, probably collar level, and it's a light-colored blonde with red lipstick, and she's got in her hand what appears to be maybe like a piece of leather or a leash controlling something. That's my observation. Your comment.
Okay, now the card at the top, the title is Hillary Clinton.
Right.
What'd you say the year was that we gave this, 2005?
Oh, yeah, you made the DVD in 2005.
I told the viewers at that time that what happened was, out of 450 cards, the Lord had me take out several decks, and he had me spread those over the bed, and so my whole room was basically nothing but these Illuminati cards. And he told me the order to which to arrange them, and basically, when I got done, it told a story. Now, when I asked the Lord, now remember this was back in 2005, when I asked the Lord, I said, well, what does Hillary Clinton have to do with anything? And he said, watch. He said, she's going to become a political figure, important political figure, once again.
And you said that on the DVD?
Yes.
In 2005?
In 2005.
Well, you are a prophet.
And guess what? She ran for president, didn't she?
Right.
And I tell you, here's the funny thing. You say, remember that when you described that she's holding a leash?
Right.
If I don't have the card out, but if you were to put the card of Bill Clinton right along with this one, Bill Clinton is on the other end of that leash.
Ah, yes. That sounds about right.
Yeah. The next one is called Good Polls. And this is where, we were told that, this election, this president election, people just turned out in droves. No, they did not. Many people abstained because they didn't know who to vote for. But we were told that, this was a good election because everybody turned out and it was unanimous and this is what happened. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Like I said, a lot of people abstained because they didn't see either President Trump or Hillary Clinton.
Well, let me tell what I see in the card. I see a woman with her hands up in the touchdown mode. In other words, just like in football, someone just made a touchdown. And in the background, it looks like there's hockey sticks. In other words, like all of a sudden everything went up. The woman is dressed in one of those, like a flag on her blouse and her dress. And she's got kind of blonde hair, kind of like a cheerleader, with things around her wrists, much like a cheerleader. And to me, this whole Hillary thing was all saying good polls for Hillary, saying that Hillary was going to win, and then they had to wipe the mud off their face when she didn't win. Right. So to me, my interpretation, this sounds to me like that the Democrats were expecting a big victory, and they didn't get their victory.
You got it.
Once again, you've been listening to Steve Dollins. He's made a DVD that we recommend you get, Illuminati Game or Blueprint for World Domination. Also, now you want just that DVD, you can get that for a gift of $30. Or for a gift of $45, you can get a total of 4 DVDs and a book. It's called the Stephen Dollins Collector Set. prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. The 4 DVDs are Illuminati Gamer Blueprint, Occult in Your Living Room, Occult Holidays Revealed, Under the Spell of Harry Potter DVD and book. 4 DVDs and a book, $135 value, all for a gift of just $45. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you. It is your gifts of support that keep us going. God bless.
Prayerfully consider supporting the Prophecy Club with your gifts of support. We would not be here without your prayers and generous financial support.
Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com. I'm Stan Johnson, and I'm the next speaker at the Prophecy Club. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. Jesus is not the primary message of Revelation. What is? My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. And what is America's future? 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. When does the New Jerusalem arrive? Are there 1 or 2 judgments? The surprising final plague on earth. October 14th and 15th, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m. at the Prophecy Club, 2540 K Avenue in Plano. That's October 14 and 15, Saturday evening, 7 p.m., Sunday morning, 9 a.m., Spirit of Prophecy Church, corner of Park and K in Plano. The meeting is free, but we do ask you to go to prophecyclub.com to reserve your place. See you there! Order your copy of the DVD at prophecyclub.com.